So we're going to take a look at a coordinate geometry of the line question from the 2012 Leaving Cert Ordinary Level paper. So this is question 3, and we're asked to plot the points A, B, C and D on the diagram below. So if we want to start by plotting the point A, so A is over 6 on the x-axis, and then minus 1, which means goes down 1 on the y-axis, and that's the point A. The point B goes over 12 on the x-axis, and then down 3 or minus 3 on the y-axis. That's the point B. The point C is over 8 on the x-axis, and then up 5 on the y-axis. That's the point C. And then the point D is over 2 on the x-axis and up 7 on the y-axis, and that's the point D. If we were to connect up the dots, we can see that it forms what looks like a parallelogram. And in part B of the question, they ask us to describe 2 different ways of showing, using coordinate geometry techniques, that the points form a parallelogram ABCD. They're not actually asking us to go and do the calculations, they're just asking us to outline 2 different ways that we could go about doing this question. So the first way that we could do it is, we could show that the opposite sides are parallel to each other. And the way we could do that is through finding their slopes. If we find the slope of DC, and we find the slope of AB, and if they're equal to each other, the 2 slopes are the same, well then those 2 lines are parallel. And then if we go over and we find the slope of A to D, and we go and we find the slope of B to C, and they're equal in measure, well then those lines are parallel. And in a parallelogram, opposite sides are parallel. So the second method we could use is we could show that the opposite sides of this quadrilateral are equal in measure. So we could go and find the distance from D to C and A to B and show that they are equal in measure. And then we could go and find the distances from D to A and C to B and show that they're equal in measure. And in a parallelogram, opposite sides are equal in measure. So part C of the question then asks us to go and actually use one of the ways we've described to show that it is a parallelogram. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the slope of D to C and A to B and show that they're equal in measure and thus parallel. And then we're going to find the slope from D to A and C to B and show that they're equal in measure and hence parallel. And if the opposite sides have equal slopes, it means they're parallel, and therefore this shape would be a parallelogram. So we're going to need to use a formula from the table. So the formula for the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we're going to start by finding the slope of D to C. So it's important that we label the points D and C to get them ready for the question. So D I'm going to call x1, y1, and C I'm going to have as x2, y2. We're going to put these into the formula, so it's going to be 5 minus 7 over 8 minus 2. That gives us minus 2 over 6. And if we simplify this fraction, we get the fraction minus 1 over 3. So the slope of this line here is minus 1 over 3. If we go down to find the slope of A to B, then we're going to relabel the points. So this time this will be x1, y1, and this will be x2, y2. We're going to plug these into our formula. So y2 minus y1 is minus 3 minus minus 1 over 12 minus 6. On the top here we have minus 3 minus minus 1, so that's minus 3 plus 1, which is minus 2. And on the bottom we have 6. And again, this simplifies to give us minus 1 over 3. So we've shown that these opposite sides are parallel. So the line DC and the line AB are parallel to each other. So now we're going to go and we're going to find the slope of D to A. So what we want to do at this stage is we want to relabel all of our points. So now we're going from D to A. So x1, y1, x2, y2. Again, we're going to plug these into the formula. So y2 minus y1 is minus 1 minus 7 over 6 minus 2. On the top we have minus 8, on the bottom we have 4. And minus 8 over 4, if we simplify that, we get the slope minus 2. So the slope of this line from D to A is minus 2. We're now going to find the slope from C to B. So again, we're going to label the points x1, y1, x2, y2. And we're going to sub them into the formula. So y2 minus y1 is minus 3 minus 5 over 12 minus 8. So on the top we have minus 8, and on the bottom we have 4. And again, we can see that this is the slope minus 2. So we've shown that opposite sides in this shape have equal slopes and thus are parallel, and therefore the shape is a parallelogram.